What has been one of the biggest stories over the last 2-3 years?
The Labor Department says the U.S. economy added 187,000 jobs last month.
U.S. payrolls increased by 150,000 in October.
What's going to happen in 2024? Stay tuned and I'll give you my thoughts.
If you are looking for a job, it's good.
Employers added 517,000 jobs last month.
The unemployment rate is near a 50-year low.
Through the past few years, we've been in a very strong labor market. If you look at wages, wages were growing at really an unsustainable rate. That wage growth was a big reason for why there was inflation. On top of that, folks were leaving the workforce.
The labor force participation rate is even lower than it was before the pandemic, which helps explain why there are millions of jobs unfilled.
When you can fill workers, you're having to pay them 10, 15, 20% more than you were. It's just a period of a lot of change, a lot of uncertainty. It really causes the business owner to think about what his or her people strategy is going to be, not just over the next 6 months or a year, but really longer term. But at the end of the day, what's the expectation for jobs for the labor market? I think there are 6 key factors that we need to look at. One of the most critically important measures is unemployment. Past few months, it was as low as 3.5. It's edged up a little bit to 3.7 now, with some economists, Wells Fargo in particular, expecting it to get to as high as 4.5%. Another factor we need to look at are the magnitude by which non-farm payrolls are increasing. Historically, I would say that 400,000 or so is a healthy measure. And even though non-farm payrolls are increasing, which is good, it's significantly less than that 400,000 figure. The hiring has been very concentrated, specifically within 3 sectors. Healthcare, which includes social services such as daycare and whatnot, government, and leisure and hospitality. If you remove those industries from the non-farm payrolls, the increases are actually closer to 0 than they are 100,000. Another important metric to look at is turnover. In terms of new hires, turnover was as high as 6.75 million. Now it's closer to 5.75 million. Impacting turnover is what wages are doing. A year or two ago, wage growth was as high as 6%. Now it's trending down closer to 4%. Finally, we can look at the hiring of temporary workers. Temporary workers are a good indicator of the economy because those are often the first jobs to go whenever the economy starts to sour, and the first jobs to start picking up whenever the economy starts to recover. Temporary hiring is down significantly as well, from about 3.18 million to about 2.9 million. With all these different metrics that are generally speaking exhibiting a trend, why isn't there a broader panic? Well, first off, what I would say is that the economy is still producing jobs faster than the period preceding the pandemic, which is a very good thing. Also, I think employers are thinking more long-term about their personnel as opposed to being more short-term thinking. And what I mean by that is hiring managers, division managers, CEOs, owners, they remember how hard it has been to fill jobs and how much they had to raise wages and whatnot. We'll see the employers keeping those employees that really want to be there and really are performing. What's going on here with just some cooling, softening, not rapid deterioration. These moderate declines in some of these measures, I actually think is going to have a positive impact on many businesses because they'll feel confident about hiring if the need is there, but are not going to feel like they're going to have to hire anybody that simply shows up for the interview. What do you think the job market is going to look like in 2024? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you.